Wine and Crime contains graphic and explicit content that may not be suitable for some listeners. Listener discretion is advised.
Okay, welcome back to Wine and Crime, the podcast where three friends chug wine, chat true crime, and unleash their worst Minnesotan accents. I'm Ken.
Hello.
There she blows. I'm Kenyon.
That was Amanda.
That was Amanda.
And I'm Lucy.
Okay, and this week we are going to be talking about crimes of passion.
Okay, this has seriously been my favorite research project so far.
Because you get to watch so many Lifetime movies.
Oh my
I
God.
love this so much.
I had so
so
much
happy.
trouble choosing a crime. I literally went so far down the rabbit hole on like 20 different crimes. And
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's too much. There's too many people that
Guys,
want to kill their
there's
fucking
so
partners.
much.
Yeah.
We're gonna be on the air forever. There's so much content. You'll never get rid of us.
This episode will be 36 hours long until we all die of alcohol poisoning. It's perfect.
Huzzah!
All right,
I am
then we-
well stocked
10 in the
until
morning,
then.
and I have not eaten anything, and the wine is flowing.
I am like a doomsday prepper when it comes to alcohol.
Ditto.
I'm like alcohol and toilet paper. I am set forever.
It's
So,
cheaper when you
I
buy
definitely
by the
always
case.
have more alcohol than toilet paper in my house.
All right.
So
You
crimes
can always rinse, but water can't get you drunk, so.
yet. So I just have to point out I'm currently in Denver recording in my Marriott room. And the reason I'm here is because my husband Corey's little brother is performing in a play of Medea, if we recall.
Medea Halloween.
That is like the original crime of passion, not the Tyler Perry
Like
Medea.
Medea goes to jail.
No,
Medea goes
Medea's
to Denver.
Halloween.
not the Diary of a Mad Black Woman, the Greek
Okay.
play.
Medea gets her groove back.
Yes, by killing her children and her husband
Oh,
in a
that
fit of
one.
rage.
Perfect.
That one. Got it. Okay.
That one.
The only play I ever cared about was Steel Magnolias, so.
Drink your juice.
Shelby.
Oh my God. It is minute 3 of this recording, and we are just.
Hey, we like to unravel real early on this show.
We're warming
People
up.
should be used to that by now.
Amanda, do
Tight.
you want to give us our wine pairing for the episode?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. This week's crime pairing was actually suggested by a lovely friend, Kelly Maureen, so thank you,
Woo!
Kelly.
Yeah.
Thanks to you, we are currently drinking the Affair Pinot Noir. So this is a 2015 Pinot out of South Africa, specifically the Hemel en Ard Valley outside of Cape Town. This particular bottle is part of the La Verge Wines of Desire collection, and La Verge is like French for the Virgin.
Let's start that over. It's pronounced La Vierge.
Oh my God.
I'm not French, so I don't care.
All right, fine.
She doesn't kierge.
I don't care. We found this to be a perfect fit with today's topic, crimes of passion, though I don't think any of our featured killers are actually virgins, but whatever, doesn't really matter. A little bit about Pinot Noir. It is a red wine grape variety. Its name derives from the French words for pine, alluding to the way the grapes cluster super tightly like a pine cone, and black in reference to the grape's super deep purple color. Pinot Noir grapes are notoriously finicky to grow, which I didn't realize. I didn't know anything about the how crappy it is to grow them, because you see Pinot Noir everywhere. It's such a popular wine. I assumed that the grapes were pretty easy to work with, but they're really not, because they cluster so tightly that they and their skin is really thin, so it leaves them susceptible to rot. So Pinot Noir grapes need constant, continuous canopy management. So I'm talking about, like, old, fat Italian guys just sleeping in the vineyard. Just around-the-clock care.
Oh my
like
god,
that.
that reminds me of that, like, movie, I think it was, like, Keanu Reeves' movie in, like, the late 90s where he, like, falls in love with, like, an Italian girl and, like, the family won't accept him because he's Keanu Reeves, but then he, like,
Point
saves
Break.
Not the lake house.
But he, like,
and
saves
not-
the vineyard from, like, a fire, and then they accept him. It's a really sexy movie. Continue.
Is it Point
Oh,
Break?
thank God.
Yeah. Yeah, and they're surfing. I forgot to mention the surfing and the FBI, but yeah, that's all in there, too. Yeah.
Cool.
I love that one movie Keanu Reeves did.
I think it's him.
His only movie.
Yeah.
The lake house. Anyway.
The Lake House.
Despite their deep purple color when on the vine, Pinot Noir grapes actually produce a much lighter in color, medium-bodied wine with low tannins. So this bottle definitely has a lot of those qualities and is giving us some of those classic Pinot Noir notes of cherry, dark fruit, tiny bit of spice, and just a touch of acidity. Pinot Noir is a really good wine to go with really any kind of food. It's light enough that it could be paired with fish. You can eat it with, like, hanger steak, which is really fucking good. Clams. It's an awesome, awesome food wine. And this is also, thank God, a twist off. So let's dive in.
Yeah. No pap
I'm ready.
this week. No pap.
No
It's all right.
pap.
No,
And
Zach-
I've been drinking it already, so.
Yeah, we've all been pre-gaming a little bit. Okay.
Yeah.
Lucy, do you want to give us some background and psychology into crimes of passion?
Crimes of
Of
passion.
passion.
Yes, I will. So, a crime of passion has to be distinguished from just any run-of-the-mill impulsive crimes, which, you know, can range from whatever, streaking or peeping toms or whatever.
Arson.
yeah.
Some arson.
Anything, really.
Yeah.
So forensically speaking, so this is in the eyes of the investigators, there's a difference between impulsive crimes and crimes of passion. Impulsive crimes are all impulsively executed and unplanned aggressive acts where we can find no preceding events that can be derived from a relevant relationship between the offender and the victim.
so just
okay.
random victims picked.
Right, there's no relationship with the victim.
Okay.
Got it.
The main difference is that a crime of passion is also impulsive in that it's spontaneous and it's aggressive, and they're executed in a highly stressful state, but they're directed towards someone that they have a relationship with. So
Okay.
that's really the only difference in a court of law or in the detective
makes
eyes.
sense.
Yeah.
What about, I have a question. What about, like, a parent who sees someone, like, hurting their child? Or, I don't know, less immediate. Like, here's a rumor that someone has, like, hurt their child severely and
Yeah, okay.
attacks that person.
So I guess it's not necessarily, the relationship isn't necessarily with the victim, because one of the possible motive is that you are acting in defense of someone that you love.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if there's a relationship there, it could also be framed as a crime of passion.
Because
Okay.
of the relationship between, like, mother and child.
Yep, or
Okay.
a husband walks in on a wife banging another dude and he
Yep.
kills the dude even though the dude is a stranger.
Yeah.
something like
okay. Okay.
Making sense.
Premeditation is a really big part when it comes to the legality of this. Crimes of passion are usually not premeditated.
Okay.
Can it be premeditated and still be a crime of passion? Like ever?
Not really.
I think it can.
This is kind of the slippery area where, like, your lawyer would try to frame
Right.
it as a crime
Fair
of
enough.
passion, not premeditated, and then you could get off on something like,
I was gonna say, because your charges are less if it's
Not premeditated.
spontaneous.
Yeah.
Yep.
If it's not premeditated.
so the crime of passion defense, legally speaking, is an effort to eliminate the element of premeditation. So it could drop from a first-degree murder charge to a second-degree or manslaughter, which would get you a significantly less prison time.
Got it.
Okay.
So
All right.
the
So-
premeditation is like a big factor when it comes to lawyering.
Okay.
Other related terms that the defense uses are temporary insanity which is used a lot, or provocation. So, so this defense is often called the law of Texas, where juries tend to be more lenient to cuckolded lovers who wreak their own vengeance. Go figure.
Ooh.
But probably only cuckolded white men who wreak their own vengeance.
That's the grossest sentence I've ever heard.
I know.
I do not like that.
That's just a terrible
Yucky.
word, cuckold. And I also never
Cuckolded.
know exactly how to pronounce it. Like, is it cuckold or cuckold or like how quickly do you say it?
I'd just say avoid using the word altogether, and
Yeah.
we fix this problem entirely.
I think it's
like,
one of the words that Shakespeare made up, so it's like not even a real word.
Ugh, Shakespeare.
God.
Women are more likely to get shorter sentences because juries tend to see women as the victim more often in domestic situations.
Because we are.
Because we're always right. You deserved whatever you got.
Yeah, you had it
Fucking
coming, and we're going to start quoting Chicago. But yes.
Yep.
That said, in 1994, there was a man named Kenneth Peacock who shot his wife in the head. I believe this was in Virginia.
I'm so glad you brought up Peacock. I almost did him. He was one of my, ones that I was considering. Go on.
Oh my God.
Ew.
So he was like a long distance trucker who came home to find his wife banging some guy. And he shot both of them. Well, I don't know about the guy. He at least shot his wife in the head with a shotgun. He got 18 months in prison.
Yep.
Oh, wow. So nothing.
Here's a quote from the judge. The judge said he wished he didn't have to send him to prison at all, that he knew that he must, quote, to make the system honest.
Jesus Christ.
He said, I seriously wonder how many men married 4 or 5 years would have the strength to walk away without inflicting some corporal punishment.
Corporal punishment?
Yeah, like blasting her head off, you know.
First of all, murdering
cray-cray.
someone is not corporal punishment. Second of all, no spouse gets to inflict corporal punishment on another spouse.
You do what 50% of the population does, and you get divorced.
Well, this is a modern sentiment that you ladies have, because I also have some stats about honor killings, which were legal in Brazil until 1991.
In Brazil?
Yikes.
In Brazil.
Jesus.
And then
Come on.
And even in the United States, up through the 1970s, killing your adulterous spouse was considered justifiable homicide.
Justifiable homicide.
Mm-hmm.
Patriarchy. Number one, I'm calling it. Fucking patriarchy.
That's some bullshit. You own your wife, so we don't really give a fuck if you kill her. That's kind of what that means.
They weren't saying men or women necessarily, but it was
They didn't have to.
I know.
Yeah,
they really
kind of
didn't
have to. And also just access to bodies and sex as a commodity, and property. Fucking patriarchy. Okay, continue.
Ugh.
Does that count as our second patriarchy?
Yep.
I don't even know. I've completely lost count already, and we're 10 minutes in.
I'm
Well,
gonna
we're
get
at 2.
an abacus for how many times we say fucking patriarchy.
Woof.
Nearly 15% of all women in the U.S. have been the victim of what could be considered a crime of passion. A victim.
Ugh.
Wait, say that again?
Nearly 15% of all women in the U.S. have been a victim.
All women?
All women.
Wow.
30% of women who are killed... 30% of women murdered are killed by their spouse or partner.
Yeah, but
And
that goes beyond crimes of passion, though.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, that's maybe not that relevant. I'm just trying to link this to domestic abuse here.
Yeah.
Domestic abuse, I think, is going to get its own episode because we've focused exclusively on women for whatever reason for this one.
Of women killers, yeah. And
Right.
on our cults episode, we accidentally focused on women cult leaders.
Women cult leaders.
Confession,
We just
we're
know
feminists.
how to do it. We do it right.
We're not actually advocating
We do it
killing
right.
men, but somehow killing of women is just sadder.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
It's less interesting.
Yeah.
So some possible motives behind a crime of passion could be
Passion.
projection. A person subconsciously projects onto their partner / victim traits or emotions left over from a different relationship. So one example that I read about was a boy wanting to murder or conquer his girlfriend because he was projecting emotions from his abusive father, and he wanted to conquer or control his fear of his father.
Conquer? Oh my god.
It's a
All right.
control. I mean, it's a control insecurity issue. We kind of already covered jealousy. That requires no further explanation. And then, like I mentioned earlier, acting on behalf of someone we love, and that is a factor of empathy. And then, okay, this was really bizarre, so stick with me here.
Okay.
Another motive could be fear of being overwhelmed by your impulses to show your control. So, example.
Wait, what?
So, for example, a man accidentally or just loses control. He's so angry, he loses control. He grabs a gun and he shoots at his girlfriend, but it's out of a loss of control. And then he turns around and he goes, "Oh my God, what have I just done? Wait, I can't admit to myself that I was out of control. I really did want to shoot her." So she turns around and shoots her again on purpose, deliberately.
Oh.
So it's a fear.
That is insane.
A fear
but okay.
of loss
Yeah.
of control.
Jeez.
I know, it is.
Alright.
It's weird. So the science behind it, they say it is less distressing to plan and execute something purposefully than to do the same action out of loss of control.
Okay.
Well, so you can shock yourself, basically, and then to try to manage or cope with that shock in the moment, you do it again. You choose to do it again. Or
not
it's almost
necessarily
like
again,
a bizarre
but-
way of justifying what you've done. It's like, oh, I shot her by accident, but nope, actually I meant to.
It's,
Yeah.
You're
it's,
like telling yourself.
it's proving to yourself that you're not out of control, but the only way you can control it is to do it on purpose. Do the same action on purpose.
crazy.
Alright.
Oh, that's fucking
some-
batshit. Okay.
Some level of insecurity, it kind of underlines all of these motives. So problems trusting your partner, that leads to a succession of compromises that could result in a crime. Most people who respond to a situation with violence, like in these crimes of passion, have a history of responding to conflicts with aggression. This usually isn't just out of fucking nowhere.
So it's people that already need to be in anger management or already possibly abusive, and then they snap.
Yep.
Right.
Okay.
They're not equipped with the proper, coping mechanisms to get through whatever horrible garbage they're probably dealing with, to be fair,
Right.
but...
Right. And one scientist compared this, committing a crime of passion is to a child's tantrum, where, a kid gets so upset, like a 2-year-old, they just totally lose touch with reality. And they enter a state of temporary madness where they just lash out and attack everything. But
That is a tantrum.
it's not
I
so
love
much
that.
out of hostility as it is like a fear response. It's kind of a fight or flight thing. That's why a lot of people say that they just black out and all of a sudden their wife is dead on the floor.
Well,
Okay.
shit, maybe there is actually some, legitimacy to that claim.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I always assumed it was just I'm sure it's used in a cop-out way for a lot of defenses, but
Right.
I always assumed it was just bullshit to try to be like, I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
I didn't do it.
well, I got into the neurology aspect of this.
Oh my God.
There's-
Okay, good.
there's-
Good.
There's 2 hormones in the brain that they've kind of narrowed down to attribute to these kinds of behaviors. It's oxytocin and vasopressin. Both of them act as both hormones and neurotransmitters, so they regulate both our mood and also affect our behavior.
I thought
Okay.
oxytocin was like a good one. Like it made you happy.
Exactly. So oxytocin kind of that's the empathy part, it's the love, it's the affection, it's the attachment.
Oh.
And then, I'll put it this way. Both of them function to increase what's called approach behaviors, such as love and aggression. They're drawing
Okay.
people
So do these
to each
hormones
other.
work together to create some sort of balance to keep you, normal? for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
And then when this shit gets out of whack, it can lead to all this fucking crazy behavior.
It impels you to fight instead of flight.
Sure. Okay.
Exactly. So, but both of them work, both of them are involved in love and empathy and relationship. And it's the same thing as wanting to fight and defend and the violence, the clashing. They're the same thing. So it
is funny how that line is just so thin between the two.
It's the same hormones that do both.
Like, and that's not perception, that is science.
Yep. So you're not either a lover or a fighter, you're both. There's no distinction.
Well, it's
That's
interesting
crazy.
because there have been other situations, like I'm just speaking from personal experience here, like there have been situations that like on paper were like pretty similar. I'm mostly thinking about like sexual harassment or like sexual molestation that I've endured, and in some cases I've like, freezed up, and in other cases I like yelled at the person, fought,
Fly
whatever.
off the handle a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. And
justifiably, but
yeah, but you can't. I couldn't really predict which way I was gonna go.
No, you can't really control it when you just go into those instinctual responses.
Yeah,
It's just gonna play out however the hormones are balanced that day, I suppose.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
It's totally
Cool.
how
More
your
fodder for men to be
respond.
like, it's your hormones.
Oh well, it's their hormones too. It's not like men don't have hormones.
Oh fuck yeah, it is.
Yeah.
They
Jesus.
definitely do.
Yeah. All right.
So I wanted to spotlight two incredible cases that we've all heard about and just sort of unpack them very briefly.
Yeah, kick us
The
off.
first one, you may have heard of a crazy woman named Jodi Arias.
I love her so much. I have watched every Lifetime movie, everything about this woman.
So her real
She's
story
my hero.
is fucking way crazier than that Lifetime movie. They couldn't show
Sure
that shit on
is.
TV.
What?
Sure couldn't.
Oh my god.
Oh my
Okay.
god.
So
She's wackadoo. I love her.
I added some photos to our folder that we will definitely be putting on the blog later.
Yep.
Yeah.
So basically, in 2008 in Arizona, she murdered her ex-boyfriend, Travis Alexander. He was found 5 days later dead in the shower by his friends. Her story has changed countless times. Like, I don't think we'll ever know what actually fucking happened, but
Get it together,
basically,
Jodi.
before he was killed, they dated for a while. They had a really weird sex life. He may or may not have been into children and some weird, like, oppressed Mormon sexual shit. Like, Mormons believe that vaginal intercourse is the only sex. He was free to have oral and anal till the cows come home. So
See,
there was a lot
I
of
told
that.
you the born-agains don't care about in the butt. We talked
About
about
butt
this in
stuff.
Ep1. Okay.
What?
Jesus said it was fine to do butt stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently.
Jesus was a big fan of butt stuff.
And
Yeah.
maybe
Big
look
into
at
butt stuff.
children, too? I don't know.
No,
Fucked
no,
up.
just butt
no.
stuff.
Yeah, I won't go there. Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Even
so
this
he was,
atheist won't
I'll
go
give
there.
Jesus that much.
So he was found with between 27 and 29 stab wounds. His throat...
Yeah, so he's got that pecan sandyism.
Pecan sandyism, yep.
What?
Pecan pie.
Until we have Jillian on the show, I'm never going to know how to pronounce that, so... Sorry about
Picantism,
it.
where someone is stabbed like a bunch of times.
the
Picarism.
pecan... Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Pecan sandyism.
I
Yeah,
was like,
of course, none of us looked it
Sandy's.
up. Okay, perfect.
No.
Okay, so he was stabbed. His throat was, like, slit, like, real slit. And then he was shot in the head. He has defensive wounds. He's just real fucked up. And, his body was discovered 5 days later. The police found a digital camera in the washing machine that had several photos of him in the shower right before. Like, it must have been moments before she killed him. And
Yeah,
then
there's
That
a
is
famous
so
photo of him that's
crazy.
like Yeah, that's like supposed to be the last image of him before he died.
Yep, also on the blog.
So she was taking pictures of him on purpose before she killed him.
Yeah.
They took a lot of pictures of each other. Like, they were into some kinky shit. But he was afraid of her because she was, like, stalking him and slashing his tires and wearing... She has a shirt that says Travis Alexander's.
Yeah.
And, like, underwear that says Travis's. Like, she was
That is
fucking
so
nuts.
gross. There's something about that name. Okay.
All of my underwear just says nympho on the butt.
Not specific. My underwear says Propose Dan.
Oh.
Hashtag propose.
Lucy's really committed to the movement. Oh, God.
Okay, so really the question, a big question of her case, like, I think everyone kind of knows that she fucking killed him. Eventually she confessed that she killed him, but said it was self-defense, but she's just a fucking nutcase. That was like her fourth story. So the question
and people
that
tend to attack when they themselves are in the shower. That makes sense. Yeah.
Right.
Cool.
So a big question for this one that I just want to point out, was it a crime of passion or was it premeditated murder? So this would be a case where if her defense team legally or successfully proved, which they did not, that it was a crime of passion, and if she weren't so batshit crazy and changed her story several times, she could have claimed temporary insanity, possibly.
Yeah,
although
girl dug her own grave so hard in this entire thing.
Yeah.
Totally. So she was convicted of first-degree murder, and she's serving life in prison.
All right.
The second case, which is one of my favorites,
Oh, yes.
1993, Lorena Bobbitt.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Yes.
Love this bitch.
I am, like, not up to snuff, apparently, on my crimes of passion.
Okay.
You don't know who Lorena Bobbitt is?
Listen
No.
up, lady. Listen
All right.
up.
I am
My
all
jaw
ears.
is on the ground.
Mine is too. Okay, so this woman was married to a guy named John Wayne Bobbitt, of course. One evening, as he lay sleeping, she went into the bedroom and cut off his penis while he slept at the
You go, girl.
base.
That bitch.
At the base.
Yes.
Go, girl.
She got in her car, drove away with the severed dick, threw it into a field, and then called 911. So later,
The fact that she
after
even called 911 is hysterical. Like, well, why?
Oh, my God.
Why?
It's
bother?
so great.
I think because she knew she wasn't going to get away with it. But here's my favorite part. After an exhaustive search for the wiener,
No, there are so many good pictures. Like, I remember this being on the news, and it's like Good Samaritan volunteers combing a field on the side of the road, looking for a dick.
I have a picture of someone testifying at trial with a photo of the severed dick. And it's like this little bloody, like, stump. It's so gross. So anyway,
they were just trying to find it for evidentiary purposes, not to reattach it, right?
Yeah.
No, they found it and reattached it in a 9.5-hour surgery.
Yep.
Here's
What?
Here's the part that will blow your fucking brains out, Kenyon. He went on to star in 2 porno films.
What?
Called John Wayne Bobbitt Uncut and Frankenpenis. He also started a band that failed, go figure, called The Severed Parts.
I love him.
Oh, it sounds like detachable penis.
I am so impressed with his, like, ingenuity. Like, he bounced back.
It sounded like it made
it
his
happen.
career.
It did.
You know, I don't feel that bad for him because Lorena Bobbitt claims that he raped her regularly, which of course no one believed because they were married. That doesn't happen.
Right. Yeah, you can't rape your wife, so...
She testified that he was a selfish lover. He always had an orgasm and never waits for me to have one. He's so selfish.
Ugh, what an asshole.
Yeah, warranted. Got it.
So way later, like several years later, John Bobbitt was... Well, actually, within the next several years, he was convicted of several different batteries and beating women. So he really was a piece of absolute shit.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
And then
Yeah, so fuck
later
that
on, he
dude.
got into a bad car accident and broke his spine. Too bad.
Is he
Shame.
paralyzed?
Oh,
He's
shame.
fucked up. I don't know where he's at now. I think he, like, I don't know. He's still alive.
Whoa.
Here's the best
What
part.
if
So
he
this
had
happened
lost
in-
his dick again in that accident?
Oh my god, that'd be hilarious.
The doctors are like, we are not fucking doing
Keep
this for
losing
you
my
for a
dick.
third time, okay? This surgery is time consuming. It's taking up a lot of state resources. So
Insurance
you better
is not going to cover this.
hang on to your fucking dick, Bobbit, in the future.
Right.
All right? The boy
so
who
here's-
cried,
so
no
good.
penis.
So this crime happened in 1993, and I assume the trial happened, like, pretty soon thereafter. They divorced in 1995.
What? It took that long?
Why did it take that long?
Oh
Yikes.
my god. Oh my god. They were trying to work it out, okay? They were trying to
my God.
reconcile. There's
Well,
some
anyway,
counseling.
She was found not guilty by reason of insanity, so they had kind of a
Yes.
little bit of the crime of passion defense, so she did no
Wow.
time for this.
What? None?
She
Well-
was found not guilty because
Oh. She didn't
they
kill
were
him.
able to prove that he was a giant piece of shit, and she was justified in cutting his dick off.
Yeah, he drove her to extreme emotional distress, would be my
Wait.
theory on the defense.
We need to advertise this case just so men out there are aware. Not
Oh,
all men.
don't-
You're
Fuck
the
with
only
us.
person on the planet who didn't hear about Lorena Bobbitt.
Yeah,
Everyone
I'm pretty
knows about
sure
this case.
you are the only person.
Oh shit. Okay.
I blame your mother.
Yeah,
Yeah,
your mom
she-
hid it from you.
Because I remember
real
this
sheltered.
from my childhood.
Uh-huh.
All
Like,
right.
I'm 99% sure we would play pretend with, like, the neighbor boys searching for a penis in somebody's yard. I have, like, a distinct memory of, like, me and Sam and Nick across the street, like, going on a penis hunt.
Oh my god.
That sounds weird, but it's not weird.
It wasn't weird at the time.
I swear
Okay.
it wasn't weird.
They were into
So
it.
there's a photo of the lawyer holding the picture of the sad little severed wiener, and then there's also a photo of
What?
apparently John Wayne Bobbitt surrounded by Playboy bunnies looking like a fucking tool.
Holy
Oh,
shit,
God.
that penis, I thought there was a pizza roll.
It looks
Wait,
like a
you're
Tostino's
looking
pizza roll.
at the picture? I didn't look at the
They're
picture
on the
yet.
drive. That is the tip. That's at the base? That's sad.
I mean, it's flaccid, and she cut it off, so it's like nothing
Oh.
happening.
It absolutely 1,000% looks like a pizza roll.
Looks like a pizza roll. Like,
it's
I want
making
pizza rolls
me
so bad.
Hungry.
Yeah,
That
I'm
is how much it
starving
looks like
looking
a
at that
pizza
tip.
roll. And also just
Like a
the
pizza
look-
roll that kind of bursts a little in the oven and like a little bit of the sauce is coming out.
Those are the best ones. They get kind of crunchier.
Yeah.
Oh, they're perfect.
Oh, and the look on the lawyer's face is so amazing.
Where he's like, I can't believe this is my fucking job. What am I doing here?
We need to add a thought bubble coming out of that man's head.
Yes, we do.
Like,
Oh
I
my
spent
God.
150 grand in law school for this shit.
To
Yeah.
hold up a picture of a severed dick. Fuck this shit.
What?
and
has my
still,
life
and
become?
still lose. This
Yeah.
man lost the case.
I mean,
Holding up
I'm
his
actually
picture.
not sure who this guy is. I presume it's the prosecution because
Yeah,
that's a
yeah.
gross little guy.
All right, so I chose just one story, and one of the things that I love about it is that it comes out of the UK, and like normally we think of Brits as like really prim and proper, and then
Yeah.
this story just like blows that out of the water. So
Perfect.
yeah, it gave me some it amused me a little bit. Okay,
Love it.
so, Georgina, aka Sally, it seems like she only went by Sally.
Okay.
Which I don't know how you get that from Georgina, but fine.
I don't know.
And Richard Challen were a married couple living in the UK in 2010.
Okay.
I looked up the town name, and of course it's something like ridiculous, like Hobbitville. I don't even know.
On the green.
Yeah.
The Shire.
there were like several like hyphens in the name of this town. So
What is wrong with them?
I know. So I don't even know. And I think like their neighborhood was called Ruxley Ridge, which is very similar to Wooby Widge. But
Wooby Widge. I cut that out
I know.
of the last episode.
I don't remember that part because I was
Wooby.
so shit-faced by then.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yikes.
Sally and Richard had 2 grown children. They had been married for 31 years. She was in her late 50s. He was in his early 60s. She was an office manager. He was a retired wealthy businessman, it said. I think he owned
This
like
is
car
like-
dealerships.
The perfect picture of an American marriage so far.
Yeah, well, British, but yeah, same thing. Yeah, they're just like
Plot twist,
Oh, right.
it's British.
British marriage.
totally just like normal ass people, right? So for years, Sally suspected that Richard had been cheating on her, and
What
she-
rich businessman cheats on his wife?
right?
Oh, it's unheard of.
It's insanity. So she developed this like very clever way of or idea of counting and keeping track of his Viagra pills
Smart
or
lady.
in order to like know if he was like banging other women. So-
Okay.
It's
Cool.
it's so
I'm just gonna
smart.
roll with it because I can't.
It's smart.
Awesome.
It is,
Yeah,
and it's
soup's
cheaper.
clever.
It's cheaper than hiring a private investigator. You know, it's just count his Viagra pills.
And he's probably
Fair
dumb
enough.
enough to not try to hide it at all.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
know if I counted his Viagra pills and it didn't add up is a good defense in court, though.
Well, yeah. We'll get to
I guess
all
we'll
that.
find out.
Yeah. Okay, so she tracked the pills and also his like behavior, anything like suspicious in her diary every night, like really diligently.
Oh my god,
for
what is
years.
with diaries?
Who keeps a diary? Who has the time? What?
No one.
No.
Yeah, it's insane. So anyway,
Yikes.
She's British. It's old-timey. She was probably sitting by an open window at the time when she writes
With
in
a
every
fire
night.
burning.
Yeah.
she had
With
like
a quill.
a correspondence desk, like fucking Emily Dickens over here,
Before the hearth.
Oh my god.
counting
Yes.
Viagra tablets.
It's
By
2010,
candlelight.
ladies.
Wistfully.
2010.
But it's
Not accurate.
But it's England.
Right, it's 2010, but in
2010
like
England.
Surrey. I don't even know.
Fetch me my quill, I must write my diary.
Dear
Dear
diary.
diary. My husband
Dear
is missing
diary.
47 Viagra pills.
I actually have so many quotes from the diary. So are you ready?
Yes.
Please
Oh,
read them in
thank
that
God.
voice.
Dear diary.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so she tracked the pills in the diary, and she wrote things like, quote, packet V in suit jacket,
Oh,
and
What?
like the packet of, she noticed that the packet of Viagra was in his suit jacket.
Oh my god.
taking it with him.
Why would you
And-
confront him immediately? Whatever. Okay.
Well, she does
'Cause this
confront
is
him,
way
but we'll
more
get
fun.
to that. Yeah, and like liar, liar, pants on fire.
Liar, liar.
Liar, liar, pants on fire.
Hearts on fire.
I got too close
Our
to the
British
hearth.
accents are on point.
Apparently, none of us can do anything even resembling a British accent.
No.
A liar, liar. My
It's just
pants
like-
are aflame.
We're like plantation owners. Like, it's just totally not even the same
Yeah, that's
geography
fucked.
or time period.
We'll
Anyway,
stop.
okay. Cut all of that. So anyway, she also
Not a chance.
She also complained in one diary entry about Richard leering at young women while they were on a trip to Thailand. So, like, he's clearly just gross, right?
Ew.
Lady boys.
Yeah, well, who knows? So,
Svelte tie lady boys.
Sinewy lady boys.
Virile young lady boys.
The Thai ladyboys actually are like stunningly beautiful.
I know.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
gorgeous. I will never be as pretty as a Thai lady boy.
Never.
Ever.
I would
Not on my
leer.
best day.
I would
could be-
leer at a Thai lady boy.
Me too.
I could be waxed and plucked and tanned to oblivion and not even come close to the beauty of a lady.
Move over, Kristen Stewart. We have a new lady boy on our sites.
Okay. So, she's tracking the Viagra pills. She's writing all the suspicious shit in her diary. Obviously, she notices that some pills are missing. Okay. And I just want to ask the question. I just want to pose this to our male listeners, all like 4 of you.
Vince,
Vince,
Matt,
Both of you.
that's
Nick.
and
We have
our
3
partners. Yeah. Would a man, real question, would a man ever take Viagra in order to just jack off by himself? Like, is that a thing, or is it exclusively taken to have sex?
That can't
You know-
be a thing.
No, I don't know. This is my theory. If you can imagine it, it exists on the internet. So because
Okay.
we are posing this question, this has happened. Somewhere in the world, this has happened.
Okay.
And it
Yeah.
makes sense. Like, if you're feeling aroused, but you lack the proper, like, physicality to get the blood to your penis,
Right.
but
Okay.
but you feel aroused, but you can't get hard, like, yeah. I mean, I could totally see a guy being desperate to jack off, but he can't get himself hard, taking a Viagra to be able to carry out that act.
Okay.
I could see that happening.
Okay.
But if you've done it, male listeners, all 3 of you, give us an email
Yeah,
know.
I'd really
At
like
wineandcrimepodcast
a
at
solid
gmail.com.
answer on this.
with photos, please.
Men above the age of 60 is like super in our demographic wheelhouse. So
Yep.
we're,
They'll be
we're definitely going to get
busting
an
down
answer to
doors
that.
to answer our questions.
Oh my God. Okay. So, she eventually confronts him about the missing Viagra pills, and he tells her that he has, quote, just moved them places.
Oh, just squirreling them away for the winter. I've hidden them around the house.
It's a scavenger hunt. It's romantic. So I just feel like he should have been a better liar, but anyway.
Right.
Okay, finally, her worst suspicions are confirmed one night when she decides to follow him in the car and watches him enter a brothel called Pandora's Box.
Yes. Oh my God. One of my favorite drag queens of all time is Pandora Box.
Yeah,
Yup.
yeah. Oh, yeah, super famous. Yeah. They fight over the more than alleged, over the proven cheating. They're
Sure.
estranged for about 6 months and living separately. I think she's the one that moves out and he stays in the house, which is also kind of like, what the fuck, but fine.
Patriarchy.
Yeah, maybe she wanted a bachelorette
I don't like
pad.
that.
I don't know. Maybe it was her choice. Who knows? So anyway, after about 6 months, they try to reconcile. They try to get back together. But she's clearly still, like, suspicious and on edge about him possibly cheating.
Right. Because he's a cheating piece of human garbage.
Yeah, because he, like, cheated
Sure.
on her for literally years.
Years, yep.
So, one day she leaves for the store and to pick up stuff for lunch, and when she gets home, she notices that the house phone has been moved from where it was when she left, and she asks Richard about it, and he denies that he called anyone or anyone called. Like, he denies
Wait,
being
sorry.
on the phone.
They moved back in together?
Yeah.
No, so okay, so they were estranged for 6 months. They're living separately. They're still living separately, but they're trying to reconcile.
Oh, gotcha.
They're dating.
They're
dating.
re-dating, yeah. So she's at their marital home, basically, making him lunch, making them
Yep.
lunch. Okay, so she's suspicious about the phone thing, so she dials what's like the equivalent of 411 or what?
Star
Yes.
69.
Star 69.
Star
That's it.
69. I remember using that shit.
Totally. So she calls that to find out, like, who had called, and it turns out it's this woman named Susan. And I think she must have already had a whiff of who this Susan person was. So, you know, turns out, it all comes out, Richard has been having an affair as they're trying to reconcile with this woman,
Of course.
Susan. Of course.
Once a dog, always a dog.
Yeah. Richard, a.k.a. Dick.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, Sally is, to put it lightly, displeased. But she doesn't reveal to Richard in the moment that she's just dialed *69 and, like, put it all together in her head, okay? So she, like, pretends like she believes him that he didn't call anyone. She cooks him lunch.
Still?
Yep.
I hope she
I
poisoned
wouldn't.
it.
I'd be like, you can go to McDonald's. But she's trying to play it off. Okay.
She poisoned it.
Nope. Just wait.
Oh, God. Oh,
So
God.
Richard is sitting at the kitchen table eating the lunch that Sally just lovingly made for him in their former marital home.
Oh, no.
When she pulls out a hammer that she kept in her purse.
No.
Why? Was she a carpenter?
I think maybe for, like, protection, to, like, whack people with her purse. You know, like, real old school.
You know, I've kept a hammer in my purse before, I'm going to be honest.
You're
What?
doing home repairs.
I am
you
doing
have
home
an
repairs.
excuse.
Oh, my
Maybe
God.
they were.
Okay.
No.
Along with my cheeseburgers.
Oh, God.
So she pulls the hammer out of her purse, and as he's sitting at the kitchen table eating his lunch, she hits him over the head 20 to 25 times.
Oh, fuck. Yes.
So he's
She
fine,
just-
right?
Yeah. So Richard is like, "What the fuck? Not cool."
Cool. I'm trying to eat. I say, bitch, I'm trying to eat at least
All
once
the
a
time.
week.
Yep.
Like,
I'm
it's
glad
one of
that
my
it
go-to.
sounded like a legacy for you. Okay. Tryna. Okay, back to Sally and Richard. So she fucking wails on him 20 to 25 times, including, like, he falls off the chair. She, like, keeps wailing on him with the hammer when
Yep.
he's, like, on the floor dying. There's blood fucking everywhere.
Yeah.
Obviously, he dies of blunt force trauma to the head, according to the
Yeah.
post-mortem.
Or Viagra overdose.
Okay, after killing him,
Yeah, that's what
Sally
it looks like
goes
to me.
upstairs,
Suicide by
covers-
Viagra.
Finds some old curtains, comes back
Case
down,
closed.
Cleared of all charges.
covers the body with these old curtains, which is like a classic sign that the killer knows the victim, that they try to cover the body. But anyway, just
Yeah.
saying. And then, like, changes her outfit, and then
Because she's soaked in blood.
soaked in blood,
Yeah.
and, like, a ham sandwich. Just, like, pieces of, like, Wonder Bread and blood, like, everywhere. Anyway.
Oh my god. I'm so hungry.
Okay, so then she takes some paper from the printer, writes a note, leaves it on Richard's body. The note says, "I love you, Sally." Then, this is absolutely my favorite part of the whole story.
I can't wait.
She washes the dishes.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Yes.
probably would too. She needs to
I love it.
unwind.
Right?
She needs to cool down.
She puts on a podcast. She
Yep. Pours herself some wine. Does a load of dishes.
Jots some notes in her diary.
Diary.
Okay, so then she leaves. She goes back to, you know, whatever, the house or apartment that she's been staying in. The next morning, she goes back to the scene of the crime, snoops through Richard's briefcase, looks through his computer, listens to the messages on his phone, just like...
Finds out he wasn't cheating the whole time. He was just, like, planning a lavish vacation for them.
He was like
sorry.
volunteering for, like, blind children.
Susan was his travel agent.
He was donating his pills to, like, needy teenagers.
to needy dogs with pulmonary hypertension like my dog has.
Your dog takes Viagra?
Yes.
Yeah, my dog takes 2 low doses of Viagra a day for his heart.
He was totally
Pretty good.
volunteering at an animal shelter.
Yep.
Or so Dan says.
Yeah. Dan does order the pills every month. Shut up. I hate you both.
Oh my god.
Okay, so then so this is all the day after the attack. So she snoops through all the stuff at the scene of the crime, and then she decides, I guess it kind of like sinks in, like the gravity of the situation, and she just like killed her fucking husband. So she gets in the car and she drives 70 miles to this town called Beachy Head.
Beachy Head?
Beachy Head, which is like the hairstyle that I have attempted and never achieved for years. Yeah.
Beach waves.
But yeah. Like, I don't care how much, like, Bumble sea salt spray I spray in my hair. I'm not getting waves. Okay, so she goes to this place. It's like a notorious suicide spot. And she's threatening to jump off of this 500-foot cliff. And somehow, people must notice because they call the authorities. And she's, like, coaxed away from the edge of the cliff by a few, like, local chaplains and a police negotiator.
Oh, poor
This
thing.
is so British. Okay.
It's, like, so British and so dramatic. It's actually, like, a scene in, like, several British procedurals
in
that I love.
Broadchurch.
Oh, Broadchurch, yeah.
The chaplains
Fantastic.
make it.
Yeah, chaplains, just so good. Okay.
There's
She
some
also-
nuns
chaplain.
with like habits flowing in the wind.
The fog is rolling in, and there's just heather, and like, yeah. there's a fisherman somewhere, just like coiling rope.
Soothing ocean.
All right, so Sally basically confesses during the whole, like, coaxed off the edge of a cliff incident, and then she's, like, immediately arrested. At the trial, she denies murder, which I think is, like, the British equivalent of pleading not guilty.
Sure.
By
on.
reason of... What?
Sorry, quick question. She was immediately arrested. Had they already found his body? Or was she arrested because she just tried to commit suicide? Is that an arrestable thing?
No, I think it came out what she had done when they pulled her away from committing suicide.
Exactly.
Like she confessed, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
she
okay.
did.
Yep.
She did confess as they were, like, trying to get her to not jump off the cliff.
Oh,
She
gotcha.
said, I just killed my husband, whatever.
Whatever.
Oh, I just killed my husband, but he was a lying
Whatever,
sack of
he
shit,
deserved
so
it.
whatever, yeah. Okay, so she claims diminished responsibility in court, which I think is the same thing as, like, temporary insanity.
Sure.
I like that defense.
I like
Right?
it too.
I'm not totes guilty.
Yeah, I'm, like, sort of kind of guilty. I'm, like, I don't want to be fully responsible all the time. Sometimes I do have diminished responsibility.
Oh, fuck
Like,
yeah.
I mean, we can't be responsible all the time.
No,
Anyway,
it's too much.
That's why none of us are parents.
No.
but yeah, oh, thank God. Okay, so the jury unanimously agreed with the prosecution, thinking that it was a conscious and calculated decision. I could not find out for the life of me if she regularly carried the hammer or if she brought the hammer in her purse specifically.
You know what? Maybe she had to.
She,
maybe
quote,
the hammer
brought
was
down
like.
the hammer.
Maybe the hammer was like in the basement, and she brought it up and like kind of hid it in her purse.
It is
Who
definitely
knows?
possible.
So she didn't like
yeah.
keep it in her purse, but she just like had it in there to like sneak into the room and bash him with it.
Right.
Sure.
I feel like it's like that's what the premeditation charge is like hinging on, but I could not find any information about it. Although she did like figure out the affair and then make lunch and then kill him when he was like unsuspecting, so maybe it doesn't really matter, the hammer thing.
Yeah.
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 Okay, so she was convicted of murder and sentenced to life in prison. I don't think they have the death penalty in the UK.
No, it's too morbid.
It's a blouse.
Uncivilized.
So base.
So dumb.
So then she had to serve like 22 years at minimum. I think that was later reduced to 18 years minimum, whatever. So they call it life in prison, but then they set like a minimum, which is kind of weird.
Right.
Okay, a few other, this is the last things, a few other key diary entries.
Yes. I was hoping we'd get more diary.
Diary. I wish I could do a British accent. August 13th, 2004. No.
I love it.
Quote.
I love it.
I will stop. Asked Tim for a kiss. He said he didn't want to be forced to do something he didn't want to do.
Oh, welcome to our world.
Fucking asshole. What a dick thing to say.
Yeah,
like,
that's such
divorce his ass in 2004. Don't wait till 2010 to kill him. Like,
Right.
obviously he's having an affair. Anyway.
Ick.
October.
Or he's just a prick.
Huge prick. Okay. October 6th, found receipt for Dominion Theater for drinks when he said he was in... I can't even say this. I kept this quote just because of the name of this town.
Oh, God.
Nürburgring. Nürburgring. Nürburgring?
Do you
Nürburgring.
think there are 3 drunk girls in the UK doing a podcast right now making fun of names of towns in the US?
Well, there's a really
Some
good...
alternate universe.
There's a really
If
good
so,
British
we'd love to have
podcast
you on the
called
show.
Slaughter the Pod, but they mostly focus on British crimes. But anyway.
Got it.
Okay, last thing. November 11th, lost 3 stone due to stress. Which to me, it just feels like a Bridget Jones diary entry. Like
It totally is.
and then you like remember the fact that she like brutally murdered her husband with a hammer.
Right.
It's
But
a
that's
little bit
neither
less
here nor
quaint,
there.
But yeah.
Snakes
All right.
felt
I love the diary.
while watching Mark Darcy work out.
All right, that is my piece. That is Sally and Richard Challen from the UK.
Oh,
Nice.
you know, I don't blame her, as I don't blame most of our criminals. Sorry about it.
I don't blame really any of them.
Yeah.
Jodi
well,
Arias, she's a crazy bitch.
Yeah.
She's the one that I feel like is actually nutty.
Yeah.
But this gal
Yeah.
that we're about to chat about is also a little unhinged. So this is a crime out of Germany.
Ooh.
And yep, it actually took place a while back, but has just been like discovered in the past couple weeks.
Oh my
so
God.
It's
So
actually kind of
recent.
fun because you can go, after listening to this, you can go find articles about it. They have pretty strict privacy laws in Germany, so they only have released first names and last initials for the people involved in this crime. And
Okay.
the only photo that I could get is literally this woman with a piece of paper in front of her face in court because they won't release anything. Which I
God
think is
damn
kind
it.
of cool, like, for them, but it's really fucking up the podcast, so could you not, Germany? I appreciate you caring about your citizens, but, like, we have work to do.
Could you just like
work to
ruin
do.
these people's lives so that we can have like a slideshow on the blog? Thanks.
Yeah, I need my slideshow. So the perpetrator
really
is
important.
the perpetrator is Gabrielle P.
Okay.
And her victim was her boyfriend Alex H. So they were into some kinky sex stuff, apparently, as well. He was really more of the person who wanted to do that stuff than her, but she kind of went along with it because she loved her Alex. And her boyfriend told her to tie him to the bed and blindfold him for a little sex game.
Okay.
And so he's tied up, he's blindfolded with diving goggles that have been blacked out with tape.
That's so bootleg.
Weird,
Oh my
like
God.
silk scarf.
That's
Done.
really like steampunk.
It was very strange. Very strange. So he's tied up and blindfolded, and she reaches for a circular saw that is plugged in and at the ready in their bedroom, and dives the saw into his chest.
Okay.
Killing him.
I have a lot to say about
on
this.
purpose?
Yep, on purpose.
Why?
Do you want me to keep going, or do you have questions now? Because we're just getting started.
Oh my god. What else would the purpose of the saw be in the bedroom? Like, they're not banging in the garage.
No, but they claimed that they were making home repairs. And
in
that's why the saw...
Plugged in? All right. Okay.
And that's why the saw was plugged in and prepared. Again, it all comes together.
Okay.
So she does admit to the killing. And they are trying to spin it as an unpremeditated act of desperation. She claims that she'd been driven to despair after her lover forced her to take part in these weird sex games that she didn't want to do.
But he's the one blindfolded and tied up.
Yes,
well,
at
he
his
probably
own
likes
request.
it.
Yeah, he's
But I'm
asking
just
her
saying,
to do these things to him.
Yeah, but she's still.
So I don't know.
She's on tap.
Don't worry, there's a diary.
Oh, yes.
Diary.
Although I actually don't know if I have anything from the diary, but there is a diary. But anyway.
Okay.
So the killing took place back in 2008 when Gabrielle was 23. Nothing was discovered about this until literally February of 2016, so in the last year. When
no one's
Alex
noticed
H's...
he was missing?
Oh no, don't worry about it. I'm gonna cover that.
I'll shut up.
We want more.
Nothing is discovered until February 2016 when his dismembered body was found buried in the garden outside of her house where the couple lived together in Munich.
Wait, how long after this was? Sorry, how long was he dead?
8 years.
Oh my
It's been
god.
8 years. Okay?
Okay.
So to give it a little bit of backstory, the two met when she was only 16. They moved in together when she was 18, so she was very young when they got together. Their relationship was described as a new word that I absolutely love, tempestuous. Good word. She said, quote, "He was two different people. The one I fell in love with was cultured and funny," which makes me wonder who's the other person.
Right.
He apparently had a darker side in this diary that she kept with records of their degrading sex practices that he forced her to take part in.
How much older
Sorry.
was he?
He was considerably older than her. I think he was like 8 or 9 years older than her. Shortly before the killing, they had fought, and she kicked him out. And so, like, it was kind of a loud fight. Like, all the neighbors saw. Everyone was kind of aware that this had happened. They reconcile, but the prosecution is trying to make the case that she'd planned to kill him at that point, like, after the fight, but before the reconciliation. She started thinking, I gotta get rid of this guy because I can't get him out of my life.
Premeditation.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Gentlemen, if your woman is trying to reconcile a little
She's probably
too
gonna kill ya.
keenly, yeah.
Yeah.
She's
luring
if she's
you
not
back into the
making
fly
you
trap.
work for it, yeah.
Wear a
Run.
helmet and a nut cup at all times.
Or just
goggles
don't
won't protect
come
you.
over.
Goggles won't
No.
protect you.
So here we are on the night of the killing. Again, he blindfolds himself with a pair of diving glasses blacked out with tape. He told Gabrielle to tie him to the bed. And once she had secured him to the bed, she reached for a circular saw that was allegedly in their room because they were in the process of renovating.
That's so
Lucy,
fucking bullshit.
I know.
that in
I'm
mind.
thinking of like what weapons I would have close at hand in our bedroom.
Not many. But she puts the running
the
saw through
hammer
his
that
chest.
I keep in my purse.
Oh, right. Next to your
Durr.
chicken nuggets, McChickens.
Right.
She puts the running saw through his chest, killing him almost instantly.
Oh.
After he was dead, she used the saw to remove his head from his body. Yep.
Okay, a circular saw. There'd be fucking blood everywhere.
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 It's
But
getting
because it's
hot
fucking
in her.
Germany and they're keeping privacy, so, well, we can't
Oh my
see any of
God.
the crime scene photos.
I hope
One
she
I'm actually
repaints
okay.
the room.
I'm okay with that.
I'm not. So after he dies, she uses the saw to remove his head from his body, and then she lovingly covers his remains with a sheet.
See? Covering the body.
Here's where things get real weird.
Because they haven't yet.
Here's where they get weird.
This is where it takes a turn.
Okay.
She left him covered in the bed for 6 months.
Oh my God. Where did she live?
I don't know. She was sleeping on the couch, I would imagine, unless she was snuggling up next to him.
Was the head in that property?
Oh yeah, she still lived in the house that they shared.
He
was just upstairs in the bed.
Also, did she clean off the head and finish the house renovations?
I don't think so. I believe the head remained in the bed with him. He was dismembered, but all in one place.
Oh yeah.
Dude, that would smell so fucking bad.
Well, it wasn't until she brought home a new lover that the body was discovered.
Rebound.
Oh my God!
Yep.
She thought she
So
could
her
get away
new
with
beau, don't worry about it. It keeps going. Her new beau, Christian.
I'm too drunk for this.
Christian helps her bury the corpse in the garden instead of alerting the police.
Girl had magic pussy.
Yeah,
She
apparently.
did.
He's been charged and sentenced to 2.5 years in prison for helping hide the body.
I should fucking hope so.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
He says, quote, I did it out of love for Gabrielle.
Oh,
So that was a crime of passion on his behalf.
So you're probably wondering, like, what the fuck? This guy was missing for 8 years.
Yeah.
Why didn't anyone look for him? Well, Alex's parents did try to file a missing persons report, but a couple things factored into this. A, that's actually super hard to do for an adult.
Yeah.
Anyone under 18, really anywhere in the world, but especially in, like, developed countries with a police department, it's really fucking hard to file
over 18.
a police report if you're over 18. If you're under 18, you're, like, good to go, because you're a minor and you're a kid, and they're all gonna fucking Amber Alert and look for you. But if you're an adult, you can go anywhere you want of your own free will, and people are not gonna go look for you.
Yeah.
Is that just an American thing, then, that people at least pretend to care that you're missing?
I don't know.
Or is it like a Facebook thing?
It's just a Facebook thing.
Okay.
Just sweet, this
Second
missing
thing,
guy.
Apparently, like, the day she murdered him, she was on the phone with his mother and told his mother that he had run off to Romania with a new girlfriend.
Before she murdered him or after?
No, like, right after she murdered him. She was covering her tracks.
A likely story.
And then there was actually a false sighting of him in 2010 that seemed to corroborate the story, that he had run off. Somebody thought they saw him.
So she got
was
really
like
lucky.
Yeah,
she
that
got
was
so
lucky.
fucking lucky. It was like a trifecta of things that came together to make it seem like maybe he had wandered off.
Yeah. And was he enough of a weirdo? Like, he was a bit of a weirdo sexually.
Yes,
but who cares?
however,
was he enough
his
of
mother,
a weirdo that, like, his parents would believe that he would run off to Romania? Or
yeah, the neighbors used to call their house, I mean, I don't even remember. It was something like they called it the hippie house, and they would always have parties, and, like, they were all having orgies, and, like, they weren't super well respected in their little community because they were party people.
Okay.
So
all right,
he was kind of
it could have happened. Okay.
Yeah. But I think this is actually my favorite part. So the new boyfriend, Christian, so, like, he helps her bury this body. It's still 2008 because he came over to her house 6 months after the death. So he's been with her forever. This is years have passed. So this is how all of this was discovered in the last year. Christian went to a party and got drunk.
Oh no!
And started running his mouth about how he had helped Gabrielle hide a body, and the friends he told were like, "What the fuck?" And they called the police, and he got arrested.
Oh my god!
Yeah. And so the trial is actually still ongoing, and I think a big part of what they're trying to do is to decide whether or not it was premeditated, or if it was a crime of passion, because that's going to change her sentencing. But she has admitted to it, so she's going to jail. Now it's just, like, the little intricacies of what charges she's going away for. Right. Isn't that fucking crazy?
So she's in custody right now?
She's in custody, yep. We're in the middle of her trial, like, right now.
Oh
So,
my god, she's on the
I'm
stand
still-
at this moment.
I'm still, like, a little unclear about, like, why she did it in the first place. Like,
So,
her...
I think that the defense that they're trying to build is, and, like, using the diaries and all this stuff, is basically that she was essentially sexually assaulted by this older man who kind of, like, preyed on her at a young age. They moved in together. And
Yeah, if
she
they
was,
got together at she was 16.
She was 16 when they first started dating. And
How
she
old
didn't
was
kill him
he?
until she was 23. He was, like, 8 or something years older than her.
So
Okay.
he could have been like
So-
23, 24 when they first
Yeah,
started dating.
it was like a statutory situation
Okay.
when they started dating, and he was like into all this freaky sex stuff that she wasn't super into, but I guess she felt like dominated by him and would just kind of give in to his every whim. Again, this is her spinning of the tale. We'll never get
Right.
Alex H's side of the story because
Right.
he's in pieces
Fucking
in a garden.
beheaded in the garden.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's
and,
in the
like,
garden.
super decomposed.
Well, yeah, they wrapped him in plastic. They wrapped the pieces in plastic. So, yeah, like, all the bones and everything are preserved, but he was under there for 8 years, so...
I bet they got some great tomatoes in that garden, though.
Oh, my
Ooh, like
God.
a weed.
Rosa. Some heirloom.
Some really beautiful heirloom tomatoes came out of there. But, yeah,
I
that's
just-
the
I
defense
just, like-
they're trying to spin.
I just, like, do not understand beheading. Like, I don't
No, I
understand.
mean-
I can wrap my head, like, don't quote me on this. Please don't prosecute me if anything ever happens. But I can see killing someone. I cannot see beheading someone. I just don't get it.
I think
don't
it's
really-
I think it's like a fully, like a fuck you, like you're
Yep.
fucking dead. It's a very base, I'm cutting your
Yeah.
fucking head off. Like that's a
I think-
really,
I think for
personal
me,
thing.
the big turnoff of this entire thing is just the mess.
No,
that would have
oh
been
my,
so fucking messy, and she didn't clean it up like
No.
ever.
No, not that it looked like. She basically just
left it
left
there.
the room like a little shrine, a little fucking...
I feel like just
Tomb.
the fact that she left him there untouched for years.
Oh, yeah.
And
No,
still
she
lived
didn't,
in,
well, she
in
left
the
him
property.
in the bed for 6 months. He was only inside for 6 months.
Okay.
But still, who knows how long he would have sat there if she hadn't brought home her new boy toy Christian to, like,
Yeah.
help her, you know, fucking chop the rest of him up and hide him in the garden. Like, he presumably could have stayed there for a long fucking time.
Is there a statute for like? Okay, so there's pre-meditation. Is there like post-meditation?
That's
like
a good
she
question.
let him sit there for 6 months and then she cut him up and buried him.
Yeah,
Like
I
there's
don't know how
some
it
element
was.
of planning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I don't know how it would work in Europe, but I know that here she would have been charged with like desecration of a corpse. And
She would have been
like
charged with a
things
bunch.
things like that would bring down additional charges on top of the murder charges.
But don't we
So,
kind of
yeah.
assume that someone would try to like cover their tracks?
But you get additional charges for like shit that you do to a body. I mean, we learned a little bit about that in the necrophilia episode.
Hell yeah, we did.
So, hiding a body, like, I mean, if she were being tried in the United States, she'd have a whole smorgasbord, to be German, of charges.
I think that's Swedish.
Whatever.
Well,
European.
fuck.
I'm sorry.
To be
I
not
can't help
English. Well, I'll
You
cut
could.
all of it out so that you don't look
right.
like such a bitch.
it. Fine.
Anyway, that was mine,
Fine.
and because this trial is ongoing, I will probably provide small updates on this case in future episodes,
Hell yeah.
if anything comes up, because it's so fucking fascinating, and I'm just, like, obsessed with this. I checked on it, like, every day this week.
What was
Be
her
like,
name again?
has anything happened? Her name was Gabrielle P.
Okay. All right.
If you just Google Gabrielle P. beheading Germany, all over it. A lot of articles. It's really funny, too, because you get the legit articles. Like, there's something in the Times. There's some international news about her. And then just, like, European tabloids that are like, some crazy bitch cuts off head of, like,
So good.
sex-crazed boyfriend.
European tabloids are
Yep.
the fucking
So
best.
good.
They're so
There's no
90
filter.
awful.
I just want to, like, confess that, like, 90% of the information about my case came from, like, the Daily Mail, which is, like,
Perfect.
super not even a reputable source, but I just literally,
love
like,
it.
cherry-picked whatever was most sensational and used that.
Yeah, the language is so colorful and fun,
They're
too.
so
Yeah.
bombastic.
They
Yeah.
write our episodes for us.
Pretty
yeah,
much.
I love the Daily Mail.
So,
It's
thank
like
you
the-
so much.
yeah.
But
Special
yeah, that's
thanks this
Gabrielle
week to the
P.
Daily Mail.
For real. For real.
All right, legit special thanks this week. We have, when I first wrote this, we had 2, but now we have 3 new Patreon supporters.
Thank you.
We're dollaraires now.
We are each, after like fees from Patreon, we are each making about $6 a month off
I'll
of this
take it.
podcast.
I will
That's a lot of
take it.
McDonald's. That's a lot of Taco Bell.
Thank you.
Whoop, whoop. Yeah. So,
So many Chalupas.
the 2 Patreon supporters that are at the level to get the shout out on air are Marie Erickson and Vince O'Connor, our boy.
One of our
Yeah.
boys. Woohoo!
MVP.
So
Vince and Marie.
Vince in this
Most
is
valuable penis.
Most valuable penis.
our most valuable Vince.
Most valuable payment.
Yes.
So Vince, we've had 5. This is episode 5. He has gotten a shout out on 2 episodes
Yep.
because he also answered a question we had from episode 1 about corpse boners.
Yeah,
Oh
he
my
did.
god.
Yeah,
Vince, you're
And-
basically an unofficial cast member now. You're a host.
I'd like to also give a shout out to my new friend Kaylee, who works she works with bugs, but apparently she had to like dissect a corpse once, and she illuminated me on posthumous penises. So thank
Nice
you.
work.
we will, and we've had some fans on Twitter ask about the answers to our post-mortem penis questions, and we will answer those in a future episode. We are just too drunk to do it right now, so
Yeah.
it's
So
coming.
tired.
We'll
Yeah,
take care of
we'll-
it later.
Yeah, okay,
yeah.
it's coming. Also, I don't want to cut Marie Erickson short because she has been an absolute doll. So she is another Patreon
Yes.
supporter.
Marie.
Marie,
Get
what
it.
up? Okay, also, last thing, big thanks to everyone who left an iTunes review.
Yes.
We love you. You're getting a special little digital thank you coming soon. If you haven't left an iTunes review yet, please go do that, and you will get a little treat coming up. We really, really appreciate it. It's the best way to help spread the word about the podcast and introduce new listeners to the podcast. So
Yes.
thank you so
Thank
much.
you
Love
so
you.
much. We do.
All right, I gotta
truly
pee. So
Me too.
Well, then that's it.
then that's it. All right, thanks
you guys
for
next week.
listening.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to Wine and Crime. Our cover art is by Kali Yip. Music by Phil Young and Corey Wendell. Sound mixing by Dan Larson. Check out our website and blog at wineandcrimepodcast.com. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Wine and Crime Pod. If you have wine recommendations or creepy true crime stories to share, email us at wineandcrimepodcast@gmail.com. All Wine and Crime episodes are available on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play, plus a number of other podcasting apps. If we're not on your preferred app yet, let us know and we'll work to make sure you get your wine and crime fix ASAP. Most importantly, if you like the show, please rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes. It really is the best way to spread the word. Support for Wine and Crime comes from us. At the moment, we're footing most of the bill, but we ain't too proud to beg, so we're also on Patreon. If you'd like to support us and get a shout out on air, visit our Patreon page to keep this podcast and the wine flowing.